I invite you to join with me in a spirit of prayer. Gracious God, we ask that this food nourish our bodies, that our conversation enliven our minds, and that our fellowship enrich our spirits. And as we gather in this space together, let us not forget those who hunger for food, who thirst for justice, and pant ever so longingly for peace. This we pray. Amen.
I'm now going to introduce all of our new staff that have joined us since January 1st. We have 23 new hires in that time. So if you are a new hire, be ready to stand up. Okay, our first person is Jesse Avila. He's the assistant recruiter for executive degree programs. Jesse, are you here? Ishani Banerjee, the Associate Research Director for the Georgetown Institute for Consumer Research. Everton Batista, Business Analyst for Executive Education. Iman Bedri, Faculty Services Coordinator. Brian Kane, Assistant Director of MBA Student Services. Leonard Canny, Operations Coordinator for the MBA Career Center. Atesh Selip, Managing Director for the Georgetown Institute for Consumer Research. Lindsay DeCastreek, Assistant Director of Marketing for Executive Non-Degree Programs. Adam Hahn, Associate Director of Program Development for Executive Degree Programs. Christopher Heiduck, Behavioral Lab Manager. Caitlin March, Marketing and Events Coordinator for MBA Admissions. Julia Newton, Director of Events, already standing. Devin Owens, Front Office Coordinator for MBA Admissions. Carrie Pace, Associate Dean for MBA Programs. Angela Patriarca, Assistant Director of MBA Programs. Lauren Power, Director of Editorial Services for Marketing and Communications. Melissa Rogers, Web and Print Graphic Designer for Marketing and Communications. Stephanie Rufino, Associate Director and Academic Counselor for Undergraduate Programs. Sandra Sergiu, Executive Assistant and Office Manager for Executive Education. Samuel Scarden, Manager of Data and Business Intelligence for the MBA Career Center. Jamie Stoll, Assistant Dean of Program Development for Executive Non-Degree Programs. Sarah Tillotson, Assistant Director of Executive Non-Degree Program Management. And last but not least, Benjamin Wagner, Assistant Director of Executive Degree Program Management. And now it is my pleasure to introduce to you our new Deputy Dean, Luc Wateux.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to encourage you to start eating the salad, while you should continue to applaud when I announce the new faculty. We'll have Jenny Bay joining us as Assistant Professor in Finance. Jenny has a PhD from the University of Chicago. and joins us from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Michael Schitkello will be a teaching professor in finance, joining us from Wake Forest University with a PhD at Michigan State. Jess Kornagi received his PhD at UT Dallas and joins us from Indiana University. He will be an assistant professor in finance. Mae McDonnell, assistant professor in strategy, joins us from Kellogg, where she got her PhD in management. Nate Miller, assistant professor in strategy, PhD from Berkeley, and joining us from the Department of Justice. Shannon Ulu, assistant professor in OPIM, with a PhD from Duke, joining us from UT Austin. We also have two visiting professors this year, Kartik Eswar in marketing. Is he here? And also Glenn Schmidt, who will later join us as visiting associate professor in OPIM. I let now Dean Thomas join us for his introductory words. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. You look great. You look great. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the start of what I believe will be our best year yet. I feel very blessed and very proud to be the Dean of Georgetown Dunn School of Business. It's hard for me to believe that it's been 24 months since I gave my first State of the School speech. I remember, uh-oh, my slides aren't clicking through well. Let me see. Okay. But I remember that 24 months ago when somebody told me I had to give a State of the School speech. And I was lucky, although scared to death, but I was lucky because I had spent most of June and July and the better part of August going around and talking to many of you. By that point in time, I think I had spoken to half of you. And a few things became fairly clear to me. One was that there was a vision that I saw that I thought others shared about who we could be once we achieve the best of who we are. And that there also was a consensus around our mission. And what I want to do is just sort of remind you of our vision and our mission and the strategic themes that animate our work, and then introduce you to the format that we're going to use for today's State of the School speech. And that vision is to be the preeminent school of business in the world, producing knowledge and leaders to address the most significant challenges and opportunities facing business and society. And to achieve that vision, we pursue a mission to educate and develop principal leaders with a global mindset to be in service to business and society. And 24 months ago, as I was first coming into the school, another question that I asked was, what's the soul of the place? And what are the things that might accelerate and steepen our trajectory? And out of that, I think we developed a consensus about 5 strategic themes that I am always heartened because more and more I hear others using those strategic themes to talk about the work of the school. And the first of those strategic themes is a transformational educational experience. That's what we are obligated to be intentional about in the delivery of the education that we give to every student who comes through our class, regardless of what program they're part of. And this obligates us to continually look at what we're doing and ask the question, is it the most powerful experience that we can create for our students? The second guiding strategic theme is in service to business and society. That's what our purpose is as a business school. That's the way that we need to train the leaders who come through our program and also invest in the knowledge and faculty to deliver that. The third theme is to embrace global in our approach to all we do. And this, as well as the first two themes, are deeply connected to what Georgetown has always embodied: a global orientation, an orientation towards service, and a transformational educational experience. And to accelerate and steepen our trajectory, we said that we need to pursue excellence in research to impact practice uh, in order to have as great an impact as we can have on our students as well as on the world. And finally, to create a community of philanthropic leadership to support the work of the school. And when we hear the word philanthropic, we often think money, but we actually mean this in a much deeper way, and that philanthropic leadership is about bringing people in relationship to us so that they see our potential and are willing to give us their treasure, their time, and their talent to achieve our goals. And I think in all of these, uh, I at least see evidence that we're pursuing these in earnest. And what makes me most proud of the time that I've been here is the collective leadership that's been shown to achieve what we've achieved in a very short amount of time. And I remember when I arrived, people would ask me, why did you come to Georgetown? And one of the things I said was that this is clearly a place that was on the move. And so what we've attempted to do in the last 2 years is accelerate and steepen that trajectory. And this past year, we focused on a set of strategic priorities. The first was intense focus on execution and excellence. In the first year, we brought many new programs online. And last year, the second year, was really a year to focus on execution and excellence. Expanding our collaborations with other schools at Georgetown so that in many ways we start to leverage the distinct and unique endowments of this university. Building the brand, which means getting the word out about what's going on here and doing things in a way that strengthens the brand that is Georgetown's McDonough School of Business. And to work at developing a strategic plan that brings life to those 5 strategic themes. And we've commenced work in this regard. And the capital campaign. So I'm proud to say that the format that we're going to use for today's presentation around the state of the school is not simply to have the dean stand up and tell you the state of the school. But after we finish our entrees, I've asked a number of the leaders of different aspects of the school's work to come up and talk about highlights in terms of what they see as the state of their programs and activities, and then also to give you some projection about the future and what we're going to be focused on in the coming year. And then I'll come back and sum up some of what I see as the challenges and opportunities and choices that are going to face us in the coming year. And what motivated me to move to this format rather than the dean simply giving the state of the school is that I, in reflecting on this year, have just felt so grateful for the leadership and partnership that so many people on the staff and faculty have shown in terms of embracing the direction in which we are attempting to move the school. So I want to invite you to finish your salads and enjoy the entrees, and then we'll come back around dessert time with a collective presentation about the state of the school. Thank you.
Please keep eating as I go through my remarks here about the faculty. Georgetown McDonough is blessed with a diverse group of rigorously trained and hard-working faculty members who live a culture of cooperation and openness as they work together, as they engage with the most renowned and vibrant academic circle worldwide, and as they interact with students and the world of practice. The results of this culture of cooperation and openness is excellence in research and teaching with a strong impact on practice. I would like to preface my remarks with a big thank you to Professor Pietra Rivoli, who is not here today. But I feel very grateful that she did such a fantastic job as Deputy Dean and helped me also in the transition. Reviewing the past year, in 2012 we have improved our evaluation process and the integration of new faculty. We have ramped up the number and quality of our research seminars in all academic areas. And we have used multiple means, including a lively newsletter, to share news and celebrate successes among faculty members. A very remarkable aspect of our work is the interdisciplinary collaboration we entertain through joint seminar series, joint management of the Behavioral Research Lab, and co-authorship, often across areas, the best known being Robin Dillon Merrill and Cathy Tinsley, as well as Jim Angel and Doug McCabe. We are establishing a visiting scholar program, recently involving visitors in accounting, in finance, and in marketing. Our second faculty research showcase event was a big success, and our centers, institutes, initiatives are making a difference every day, combining research outputs, events for practitioners, and opportunities for our students. We benefit also from a new professor research media outreach program, whereby 2 published pieces of research are forcefully promulgated through the press every single month of the year. I'd like to specifically highlight our new integrative teaching courses in the MBA program, which have demonstrated the challenges and power of cooperation and openness. We have had 5 such courses this year, each of them involving multiple professors, generally from different areas, challenged with the task of creating integrative content on strategic issues for today's world. Now I'd like to highlight some of the results we have achieved as we work together and engage with our audiences. A spectacular increase in the number and quality of top publications over the recent years. Multiplication of meaningful media mentions, which demonstrate thought leadership. We want to continue both efforts and rely on you to work hard in those directions. Research awards for Professor Holtom and Chris Long and others. Recognition of Lynn Doran as a favorite professor. There was a conference on big data organized by Betsy Sigman and other similar events that demonstrate the power in practice of what we've been doing here. For the coming academic year, we are planning to recruit 11 new faculty members, and this will keep us busy and require a lot of my attention. We will continue to work on initiatives that further our focus on cooperation and openness, leading to even more excellence in research and teaching to impact practice. At this point, I would like to thank you for your attention and pass the word to Noreen Sharp, who will speak about the achievements and perspectives in the undergraduate program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Luc. Well, I get to be the bearer of good news in many different ways and share some exciting developments with you. Let's see if I can. No? Can you advance the slide, please? The first exciting news is that we've had the most productive, most selective year of undergraduate admissions in the history of the McDonough School of Business. We had a record number of applicants. We had a record low acceptance rate, which now puts us, as Dean Thomas has said in prior settings, is the most competitive school at Georgetown University. And we've also had a record high yield. And among educational institutions, very few institutions experience a yield above 50%. So to have a yield of 55 and 59% in early action regular decision is truly phenomenal. And this is really due to all of you. So I have to thank all of the faculty, and in particular, the faculty on my faculty advising committee have truly continually gone above and beyond the call of duty in continually volunteering for many activities throughout the year that we hold with our undergraduates, whether it's panels or workshops or extra sessions for prospective students. So that's Betsy Sigmund, Kirsten Anderson, Charlie Scuba, Tom Cook, Tom Hyduke, Chris Long, and Lynn Dorn. And hopefully I've not omitted anybody, but thank you all to those faculty. After admissions, of course, we emphasize the global aspect of our curriculum and of our programs quite a bit. We have completed the second year of our new global entrepreneurship program with ESADE in Barcelona, and thanks to Charlie Scuba for being the faculty director of that program. We had over 50 students apply for 30 spots, so it really is a growing program. We also hosted students from 2 foreign universities, so we have 2 new alliances. For the first time, we invited 40 master's students from ESADE for a 10-day session in January, and thanks to Ricardo Ernst and Charlie Scuba and Stephen Weymouth for teaching in that program. We also hosted, and they're returning, they're sending us nearly 60 students in January this year, so they're very happy with how that program went. We also hosted, for the 3rd year, 40 students from Bocconi University in Milano, and thanks to David Walker and George Comer for teaching in that program this past summer. We have new exchange programs, direct matriculation programs for our undergraduates now at ESADE and at Copenhagen Business School, and I thank Assistant Dean Manisha Mani, who is our Director of Global Programs inside our office, because those proposals take multiple years of writing, and as Paul Almeida knows, 6 or 7 committees to get them eventually approved. So I thank her for her efforts. We have a brand new nonprofit program that we launched this past summer, where we sent 4 Fabretto Fellows to Nicaragua to donate their business acumen for the Fabretto Foundation, which was founded a few decades ago by Otto Hentz, so it truly is a Georgetown organization, and its current executive director is also a Georgetown alum. These students donated their time in terms of strategic planning, cost-benefit analysis, and fundraising to help the Fabretto Foundation out, which focuses on improving the education and health of children in Nicaragua. So we're very excited about that new global program. In terms of other programs, we ran the Undergraduate Fellows Summer Research Program for the 2nd time this past summer. So that I hope many of you were able to participate in that. We gave grants to nearly 20 of our undergraduates to work with faculty. I know some of you had multiple students working with you, so not quite 20 faculty, but I know many of you benefited from that program, and we invested about $75,000 in that program. We've started 2 new programs that focus on diversity and inclusivity, and I need to thank Assistant Dean Patricia Lewisan for both of these programs. The first one is Smart Start, that focuses on our diverse population, and that picks up where community scholars left off. And we run programs for these students throughout both their first and their second year. And we're doing that through the generosity of a grant from PwC, and they have renewed us again for next year, so we're very pleased about that. We have a new program that's running right now this week called Build, which is focused on first-generation college students and giving them a leg up on study skills and finding and accessing various resources on campus. So these are 2 new programs just in the past year that we're very excited about. Finally, I would mention that we have a new Global Parents Fund in addition to our Undergraduate Initiatives Fund. And I need to thank Tilly Carpenter, who's Director of Development for the school, in helping me set that up with our Parents Council. We have a goal of raising $1 million in that fund. We're almost halfway there. And this fund is specifically to continue to enable me to provide scholarships and financial aid for our 3 custom programs during the summer. Okay, so objectives for next year. One of our biggest objectives continues to be to ramp up the global content, both in the curriculum and then in a co-curricular way and through study abroad. So I'm working closely with Ricardo Ernst, so I have to really thank him for the motivation and vision for our global program. We're working on a very exciting new component that we hope to launch next spring called the Global Business Experience. So you will be hearing more about that, and we will be bringing that to the curriculum committee shortly. We also are working together to start a new summer program for our undergraduates because we have seen increased demand for study abroad during the summer. Almost 60% of our students annually study abroad, but we're seeing an increase during the summer and a decrease during the fall because our students really want to be here for recruiting season. So we're working together with the Office of International Programs and Ricardo through his Global Business Initiative to start a new program in Santiago for next summer. So we hope to launch that soon. In terms of professional development, I'm working with David and the Career Center in Levy that really manages the recruiting for all 7,000 undergraduates on campus, and we are working with them to try to personalize it and ramp up the opportunities for our undergraduate business students. So I look forward to working with David on that. We continue to work inside our office. As you've seen, if you've read your email, we have a great new hire. We're bringing a new associate director on board next week to complement our staff. And our staff work year-round. The summer months are spent developing new programs so that we can get to the point of launching and implementing and executing new programs. So my staff works very hard, and I have to thank the entire undergraduate program office. Finally, I would just say in development, I continue to work with David. We have many exciting projects in the works because, as you can imagine, all of these new programs cost money and they take resources, both faculty, staff, travel, etc. And so Dave and I are working on several new projects along with Ricardo Ernst through the Global Business Initiative to try to raise more resources for these activities. So thank you all, and I look forward to working with you another year. Thank you.
So I would just like to say that we feel that we're on our way to being able to produce Norian quality, yield, and acceptance numbers, but not maybe quite there yet. But that's very exciting. So I'd like to talk about a number of things that we have accomplished this year, which I think is really exciting and I think puts us into place for doing a lot more in the coming years. First of all, let me talk about the current class that many of you will be teaching. We've already begun teaching. We had orientation 2 weeks ago, and we're already well into a week into the opening term with the Structure of Global Industries and Accounting courses for the full-time students. So far, everything's going really well. We have 270 students in this class. I think many of you know that, so that's about 20 more than we traditionally have admitted. It was not necessarily our intention to bring in a larger class, but it was our intention to combat what has been kind of flattened MBA applications last year and this year. So we were much more aggressive and changed our strategy in a number of ways. We not only brought in the largest class, and many people when I say that sort of say, what'd you have to give up in order to get that? What we had to give up was an additional higher 5 points in GMAT to get that, which was the result of our strategy. 35%, that's up 5 points from last year. 35% international students, which is up 31% from last year, up from 31%. And we've got 38 countries, and I think that's a few more than we had last year. So we're very proud of those numbers, and we actually know what it is that we did to turn things, to improve some of those numbers, and so that means that we can repeat it. It wasn't just a fluke or luck. We know what we did. So we're looking forward to more of that, not necessarily a larger class. In fact, I wouldn't anticipate increasing the size of the class further, but definitely continuing to increase the quality. On some of our other numbers having to do with women and underrepresented minorities, we're pretty much flat from where we were last year, which is not what I would like to be reporting, but we have either joined or strengthened our relationships with a number of organizations that should help us with those. I want to in particular highlight the consortium, something called the consortium that we've joined, which is probably the premier organization in the country promoting education and advancement in business for underrepresented minorities. This is terrific for us. It's going to help us with our marketing to that group, as well as the consortium is a school membership organization. We are the 18th school in that organization, and all of the others are higher ranked than we are. So it's a very good affinity group for us to be joining. So very pleased about that. And for those of you who haven't, where's Sherry Hubert? Where's Sherry? Oh, she's in Chicago. So she's out recruiting students for next year already. Those of you who haven't had a chance to meet Sherry should stop by and do that. She's really terrific. She's really working on the marketing of our MBA program on all fronts so that we can also increase the application numbers so that we can get to more Norian style numbers in terms of percent admitted. So Sherry's just terrific, and you should all meet her. Those of you who have met her, I think, will agree. Let me just talk about the program a little bit. It seems so long ago now, just 3 months that we completed our first year of the new MBA curriculum delivery. That just seems like forever ago to me. As I've said to many of you many times, the results were extremely positive. I won't say there were no little bits that we need to improve, but it was extremely positive. As I've said a number of times, if I'd made up the numbers or the responses to much of this, I wouldn't have made them up this good. So the new curriculum is working. We do have now almost 500 students in FT and EP in the SGI course and or accounting courses as well. And they're happy, right? They're again saying it's very hard, and we say yes. So that's been good. You may not know we've successfully, I think, integrated the EP and FT MBA programs. The best comment that I got about, I think there were a number of administrative reasons to do that allowed us to save some money in a number of ways. But the best indication that was a good marketing move was the number of EP students who said, the most important thing that you could do to convince us that we're not second-class citizens was to integrate those two programs. So we're also looking in every way possible to continue to do that. So I think most of the program team was out at Airlie House all weekend long, mostly just eating dinner, eating meals with them because otherwise they were in class. But the fact that we were there in force, I think, gave them a really strong feeling of their inclusion and their importance to us. We had the most successful new student orientation in history. I should actually tell you that almost nobody responded to our survey, but those that did were really excited, and we're taking those who didn't as if they'd had something negative to say they would have. So we've changed that quite a bit. So I also want to just point again to Carrie Pace is here now. She's taken over as Associate Dean for the program office, which is Academic Affairs and Student Services, and you should get to know Carrie as well, because she'll be working not only with the students to try to improve their experience here, which we take to be the #1 mission of the program office, I mean, indeed all of these offices, but also to help you in the delivery of your courses, because obviously a critical part of the student experience is the curriculum and the faculty. So I really encourage you to get to know her well. Can we go to the next slide? I also want to talk about career. Many of you know who've been here for a while, career was not always one of our star points in our program. In fact, it was kind of a bane of our existence for a long time, and the thing that in many ways was keeping us from advancing in the way that I think that we can. Doreen Amorosa has been here now for 3 years, and I feel very confident in saying, and I have good evidence of this in a number of ways, that we are now absolutely on par with a better than top 20 school in our career services. We had 100% internet. These are numbers from last year because we're not done with the placement for the class of 2013. But last year we had 100% internship placement, 89% full-time placement for 3 years, for 3 months out from graduation. Of the Fortune 100 best employers for MBAs, 54 of them have hired our students, and that accounts for over 500 hires. So if you hear students saying things like the best companies don't come here, you now have the data to say, oh, yes, they do. Many of you may know also we're working really hard to make real the perennial promise that we have of being a global business school. One of the things that Doreen has instituted, and I think gives us great claims in that, is the Global Career Expo. It's actually a longer name, but I can never remember what it is. In any event, we now invite top multinational companies to come here for a day, and students from the top 25 business schools around the country. And that has proved terrifically successful. We've done it 2 years now, and it's grown the second year. And that's just giving us a lot of leverage. It's one of the things that I get when I go around bragging to whoever about whatever it is that we're doing, because that's what I do partly. That's one of the things I mention a lot, and people's eyes get very big. 71% of our international students have landed jobs. Of those who wanted a job in the U.S., who didn't want to go back to there, 71% of them landed a job in the U.S. I don't know. There are no published comparable statistics on that for other schools, but I don't think there are very many schools that are hitting that. So this is really testimony to what Doreen and her team have done to really emphasize that. I can tell you in the 2.5 years that I've been in this job that the number of complaints, when I first started, there was a pervasive belief that international students were not being attended to, and that has disappeared. Last year it dissipated. Also, they've done over 300 career coaching sessions with alumni. Another major push, I didn't put it up on the slide, but one of the things I'll be working hard on for the coming year is more engagement with our MBA alumni. With Justine Schaffner's help, we've now started the MBA Alumni Advisory Council, the MAC. So we've already got, with her help, we have a meeting next month in New York. I think we've got several people. This is a pay-to-play council, not just you get to have your name on it. So we've got several people who've already agreed, and many more who are interested. So we'll be kicking that off and doing a lot more to really engage the MBA alums in what we're doing. And part of that effort, again, is with the Career Center, who's offering now lifelong career services to alumni. So that also puts us into the top league. So my main message is that across all aspects of what we're doing, we're seeing important advancements and improvements. There's still room to go, but we're doing it. Final thing I put up there, I'm not going to talk about it, but I just want to mention that another major effort under Betsy Griffith that we've done this year is to put together the proposal for the evening program expansion to Tyson's Corner. That is still up for, there's a few approvals left to be had for that. Most significantly probably is the faculty approval, and we'll be talking to you more about that at the first executive council meeting. I've had the opportunity to talk to many of you about it. If you have questions, if you have concerns, please come to speak to me or to Betsy. And the more that we know about, you all have the proposal, so the more that we know about what the issues are, the better that we can at least try to respond. So that's MBA programs, and with that, I'll turn it over to Paul Almeida.
Good afternoon. We have a big, good-looking school. Now, I'm keeping my watch here because I can talk till the cows come home, and sometimes I do, so I'll try to keep to time. 3 years ago on this day, Dean Daly announced that I was taking over Exec Ed. 2 problems. They didn't tell me, I was not here, and I had no idea what I was getting into. But really, 3 years later, thanks to the leadership of the school, Dean Thomas, and also especially to Pietro, who's not here. Thank you to so many of my wonderful faculty colleagues. I can go through the list, with one of them sitting there, Brooks Holtum, who's helped us in so many different ways, Jose Luis, Bob Bees, Badia, Alan Eberhard, but Ricardo, so many others. And thanks to a staff that I couldn't be more proud of. I mean this in every way. They make me feel so good about life. We've had, I think, a wonderful ride. So thank you. We've grown by we've more than doubled the revenues in 3 years. And we've grown non-degree revenues by more than 400%, when the industry average per year is about 5%. So this really has been wonderful due to all your efforts. Now, I don't want to give you long lists of things we should do and we have done, but we're very proud of a couple of things. If exec ed is just about revenues, I think it should be about revenues, about healthy margins, because that's what's needed to help build a school. That's what's needed so that scholarship, summer support, and everything else can go on. That's really critical. But we believe exec ed is about something much more. It's about enhancing the prestige of our school and university in traditional markets, but also in new global markets associated with technology, in corporations that hire our students and send people to us. And so we're really about enhancing prestige. And we're also about something I think is equally important. We're about being the learning lab. We have to be innovators. We have to try things that, you know, some of the bigger and more standard programs cannot. And we have to share these ideas with everyone else in the school. We take this duty very, very seriously. And we look forward to working with you further on this. Instead of going through my rankings and everything else we've done, just want to highlight a few things that we're particularly proud of. Our EMBA program, you know, now in Financial Times, now ranked number 7 in the US. We're extremely proud of that ranking, but I'm even more proud of the fact that the EMBA students are great to be with. We really enjoyed so many professors who were teaching them, especially in the electives. It's always nicer to teach electives, as you know. Came back to me and said, these are great students. This is why I teach. And we're really proud of it. Thanks to Val and Ricardo and Badia, great global capstone. Groups went to different countries and addressed different industries and looked at globalization from the country level, the industry level, and the firm level. And then they came back and shared it with each other. No one other school does this. This is globalization. This was real. You could get deep insights into what globalization really means at so many levels. You know, our Gemba program ranked, I think, I'm not sure if 12 is right, maybe number 13 in the world by The Economist last month, in the world, not in the US, decided to really believe in Jesuit idea of social justice. They raised money and they did microfinancing for women's organization in India by themselves with no faculty or Georgetown input. We're very proud. Look at DCPS. Thanks to Bobbies and Lamar Reinsch, EML program now trains 25 principals and superintendents of DC public schools. If we really want to make a difference to the children of our community, how could we do a better job than that? We're extremely proud of our non-degree programs. Remember, every contract we get, we compete with Harvard, Wharton, LBS, INSEAD. And you know, we've often won them in the face of really, really tough competition because of our incredible staff and great faculty. So the Rio Tinto program that Brooks runs, very big program. Every month or second month, they deliver stakeholder engagement to in a different country. He's just back from Peru, and he's getting ready to go to Mongolia next. You want to go to Madagascar? Come work for us. But we have a lot of challenges and opportunities ahead. When I read, as I did yesterday, that Georgia Tech is going to put its Master's in Computer Science program online and charge $6,600. This is Georgia Tech. This is one of their best-known programs online, and they charge $43,000 for their face-to-face version. They're going to charge $6,600 for their online version. When you hear about semester online, Northwestern, Notre Dame, WashU St. Louis, UNC, going to share online courses with each other, and students can take as much as a semester, undergraduate students, of online courses. We know the paradigm is shifting. When we go to Anheuser-Busch and ask for their business, and they say, in how many countries can you deliver programs in? You know, the face of global education, the expectations of our stakeholders are changing. So we have huge challenges. We have huge, huge challenges ahead. I'm sorry, I can't see that. So one of the big opportunities, I think, the one I'm most excited about, is the Master of Science in Finance Online. And I couldn't thank Adam and Nicole, of course, Alan Eberhardt, and all the finance faculty who are really making this happen. I'm not sure what models we're going to use in the future in terms of online and on-site and synchronous and asynchronous. I'm not sure which direction different schools are going to go, but I am sure that if we don't have the capabilities to make good choices and have good options, the market can and probably will tell us that story. And so to me, the Master of Science in Finance, yes, is going to be a great program in finance, but even more than that, it's going to build our capabilities organizationally, academically, operationally, to be able to have choices to really compete in a fast-changing marketplace, not just for exec ed, I believe, but for business schools. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're so proud to be a part of it. Globalization, we've all been talking about globalization. It's really important. But to be there and to offer important programs in important countries, Brazil, India, China, in a day and age where all our competitors are also sending their students abroad also, this is important. We have to be able to be there to engage, to be able to make a difference. This is what Exec Ed is going to step out and work with all of you to do in the future. I'm really excited about the SIM program, the Brazil program, that just started this week. We had 2 months to recruit, and in spite of lots of predictions to the contrary, we have 27 wonderful students, a lot of them from Brazil and South America. This is a premium program. It's a hugely premium program by their numbers, but they're here because they know Georgetown can deliver. And we hope to keep delivering top quality degree and non-degree programs. And finally, in line with what Dean Thomas said earlier, some of our best partners are, yes, abroad, but many of them are in our own university. As we speak, the law school, you know, lawyers need business now, right? They've decided to have a 1-week-long moot camp, thanks to Dean Thomas. And this was oversubscribed. I think there are over 120 students. And I know Sandeep and Alan are over there, along with Nancy, delivering this program. So, you know, I could talk about other collaborations as well. But I just want to say this, that we've had a wonderful ride so far, but I believe the real challenges are ahead in terms of technology, in terms of globalization, in terms of collaboration. This is a hyper-competitive marketplace. But I know we have the raw material here, especially with the faculty and administration, and I look forward to taking this journey with you in the next few years. So thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. I hope what's come through from these presentations that you've heard is a sense that it is a collective leadership that is guiding the school. And as each of them spoke, they also mentioned others who are in this room who are helping to move the school forward. I just want to very quickly touch on a few things. The first is our capital campaign. We've recently raised our goal from $100 million to $125 million. We are currently at $83 million. And as you'll see on a slide later, we're coming into the home stretch of that campaign. And we'll be reaching out to you because one of the things we're learning is that the more we make this a collective endeavor, the more likely we are to be successful. So we're on an upward trajectory. I hope that comes through. When Chris showed me these slides and she had chosen that sort of squiggly upward trajectory, I asked her, was this accidental or metaphorical, right? Because I know that sometimes it can feel like we're not making the kind of upward progress that when we take a step back, like we've done today, that we are making. But there's still much to do, and there are many people who are involved in helping to move this work forward. Just listed here, just so we don't get the sense that everyone providing leadership has a title like Senior Associate Dean. These are just a list of some of the school-wide planning task forces that have been in place over the last 2 years and have done work to move us forward. One that's not listed here that I want to mention is the task force that we had on data security that was led by Val Bellegama and John Carpenter, who've done just some great work to make us, according to our colleagues in the University Information Services, best in class and the best partners that they say that they have to work with. So let me say a bit about what our challenges are and the choices that we'll confront in the near term. And it's also an indication of where my attention will very much be focused over the coming year or so. And some of these have already been headlined by the presentations that you've heard from the prior speakers. So first is expand our graduate offerings through online learning and satellite locations. This is important. It's through these activities, when we do them well and do them in a way that makes margin, that we are able to support the other activities that we need to support here at the school. And as Elaine said, soon we'll be coming to the faculty and the executive council to ask for a consensus to go forward with the Tyson's Corner proposal. We have to think about where we're going to expand in terms of the global collaborations that Paul was describing. We also have to leverage distance learning, and not just for degree offerings, for new degree offerings, but also in the context of our current classes. We have to grow the faculty, and in the 2 years that I have been here, I have seen the faculty in this school step up with the kind of energy that has been amazing to me, actually. The level of resistance to doing things new has been so low that I go places and people lament what life is like for a dean, and in particular a new dean, and I have to tell people that I haven't experienced that, that the faculty have really stepped up to be my partner and our partners in moving the school forward. But I also know that we have to grow the faculty, that our most limited resource for achieving our goals right now is the faculty, and we will be focused on that. As Luke mentioned, we have 11 searches this year, and we're going to do some analysis to look at what size the faculty actually should be to make sure that we're on target. Increase funding for our research. And this is critical in doing those activities, such as finding ways to grow smartly and grow in ways that create a surplus. The primary aim is for us then to be able to support and fund our research enterprise. Raise the visibility of our research and programs. Since I've been at the McDonough School of Business, I've been so impressed by the quality of the ideas and intellectual activities that are taking place within these four walls, and also struck by the fact that the rest of the world barely knows about it. And we've got to increase that visibility of our research as well as our programs, the great work being done by the 9 centers here. Create and enhance global collaborations. And both Norianne and Paul identified a number of the ways in which we are reaching out to collaborate with other institutions around the world, which I think, rather than a go-it-alone strategy, is the smartest strategy for us to expand our footprint globally and have an impact on business education and the development of leaders in business practice around the world. We have the Global Business Initiative. It's just a list of our partners that have already been mentioned. We have to explore opportunities for new space to accomplish growth. The amazing thing is, I think this is the start of the 5th year of being in this building, and the reality is that if we grow at the pace that I think we should grow, we will soon be out of this space. Already, we could use another 2 classrooms just for executive education. So we've got to begin to look at options to manage that growth needs for space. We need to evolve a sustainable financial model to address changes in higher education. As Paul mentioned, we've got Georgia Tech stepping out to offer a $6,000 version of a $43,000 program. If you pick up the paper, almost any week there's some article about the unsustainability of the higher education financial model that's in place now, where every year we simply jack tuition up another 3%, which is what we've been doing for the last 20 years ahead of inflation. It's unsustainable. And we are smart to begin now to explore what some of the alternatives are that will create the financial equilibrium we need, but also do so in ways that better meet the financial needs and demands of the people that we want to serve. A goal of mine is to achieve equivalent autonomy as the medical school and the law school. I firmly believe that we can add even more value, be more innovative, if we are freed from some of the bureaucratic strictures that are upon us, because we are subordinated under the main campus, which is really designed around a set of assumptions about liberal arts education that don't accommodate all of the reality of being a world-class professional business school. So this is one of the things that I've been focused on, and I will continue to focus on. And every time I mention it in the various halls outside of this building, it creates some tension and friction, but I'm more and more convinced that we need to move in that direction. And we are in the final 3-year window of our capital campaign. And this will be a focus of mine. If you don't see me in the building as much as you would like, you can bet that wherever I am, it is in the service of trying to meet the financial needs of the school and to close us on our new target for the capital campaign of $125 million, $25 million ahead of the original goal. This year, in order to expand our reach on a host of dimensions, we already have on the schedule for me to visit 12 countries. Starting this week, I head to Panama Wednesday morning, and the very creative people in our communications department have made it possible for you to follow me in the Dean's No Boundary Tour, drawing off of a tagline that has come out of our Global Business Initiative. So what are our priorities, just to summarize? We have to continue work on the strategic plan, which is about bringing those strategic themes alive. And right now we have proposals from 3 task forces that work this year that we will be seeking feedback from the faculty on and making decisions about directions that we'll move in. Again, increase the external visibility and reputation of our programs, our research, and faculty. Intense focus on execution and excellence. This was on our list last year. This has to continue to be on our list. We have to continually raise our level of play. And we have to have expectations of ourselves that we should be best in class with no excuses. There are schools out there that are richer, that are bigger, that have been in activities that we are relatively nascent in, like executive education. I think part of our success in executive education is that Paul has never set as an excuse the fact that he's been last to the party compared to our competitors. And the result is that we have won contracts from head-to-head competition from the biggest names in executive education. And that's about attitude. And that attitude has to be one around excellence and execution. And the capital campaign, again, is a priority. And increased autonomy for the school, already mentioned. I just want to remind you, two years ago, in my first State of the School speech, I ended talking about a set of operating principles. I talked about vision and mission and goals, but I also talked about these operating principles as speaking to the experience we need to create in the school as we move forward. First is fiscal responsibility. We have to be good stewards of the resources and largesse that are given to us, whether through tuitions or through philanthropy and donations. We have to seek strategic and sustainable growth, which means that there are some things that may sound good, but they are not good for us to do because we can't see how we can do them in a sustainable way for the future. And that's about making hard choices. Performance and accountability in the way that we engage each other. Also, we need to seek distinctiveness in our programming by leveraging our unique endowments. And those endowments are very much connected to the fact that we are a great business school, part of a greater university, located in one of the greatest cities in the world. And we need to constantly think about whatever we deliver, how do we deliver it in a way that takes advantage of those unique endowments and creates something that can't be done easily in Silicon Valley, on the bank of the Charles, or in Philadelphia. Service excellence has to undergird the way we engage all of our constituencies, internal and external. That's also about how we serve each other, and that we have an orientation and attitude of service, that's what we're here for. Our work is about service and service excellence. And the culture, candor, respect, innovation, high expectations, diversity, and inclusion is the culture that we want to work toward every day and build here at the McDonough School of Business. So that brings us to the end of my formal presentation. One thing I want to do, and a number of people have mentioned it, I just want to take this opportunity. She's not here, but when I think about the partnerships that have aided me as I've attempted to do what I've done here in the last 2 years, there's no partner who's been more important than Pietra Rivoli. And tomorrow, we're going to have a reception for her to thank her for her incredible service and contribution. So I just want to remind everybody of that and invite you to join us. We had originally thought we'd have time for Q&A, but we're approaching the end of our time. The good news here is that we already have on schedule a town hall. It's, you know the date, Matt? It's October 11th. And you can come there. It'll be an open forum devoted to opportunities to engage in questions. But if there are things that any of us have covered that you have ideas about, please feel free to drop us an email, buttonhole us, get on our calendar. And again, I hope what you've experienced is that we have accelerated and steepened the upward trajectory of this school, and that there are many people engaged in making the exciting things here happen. And I'll just end where I started, which is to say that I am extremely blessed and extremely proud to be the Dean of the McDonough School of Business. Thank you.